What is your name, please?
My name is Lulu Porter. My name is Lulu Porter. My name is Lulu Porter.
Only one of these young ladies is the real Lulu Porter. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Betty White, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this week by Winston Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Oh, my. You rehearsed that. That's a good morning, teacher. Betty,
morning.
How are you?
Fine, Bud. How are you?
Mrs. Ludden.
Thank you very much.
Gotten kind of used to that now, haven't you?
No?
Tom, always a joy. Well, let's see what we have here. Is your great smash hit still going like it always is, and you with it?
That show, Never Too Late, is going to run longer than Ben-Hur.
Hope it does. Please open your envelope, if you will, and follow along as I read from this first story. I, Lulu Porter, have been a nightclub singer for less than a year. Recently, I was chosen by the Department of State to represent the United States in the 3rd International Song Festival in Sopot, Poland. I competed with singers of 25 countries from both sides of the Iron Curtain. The rules required that I sing one Polish song with English lyrics. Despite the fact that the Red Bloc judges were in a majority, I was voted the best performer. My prize was a hand-woven blanket. Signed, Lulu Porter. We bring you 3 lovely young ladies, all claiming to be Lulu Porter, winner at the Polish International Song Festival. And we might as well start with our own winner. We just talked about as being star of the Broadway comedy hits, Never Too Late, Orson Bean. Orson?
Well, Miss Porter, whoever you are, you're a fine, healthy girl, and you make me proud to be an American. I have read your name in the paper in connection with this, and I recall that you were selected by someone rather important. Miss Porter, number 2, who was that?
Well, the name you probably read was Pierre Salinger, but actually he saw me when I was performing in West Palm Beach and congratulated me. And then several months later, I received a notice from the State Department.
Ah. Well, in other words, he had something to do with it.
I think. It was never verified, you know.
Miss Porter, number 1, even though the communists were in the majority of the, they voted for you. I think that shows that a man is a man, even if he's a red. And they gave you a blanket to take home, too. I think that's... Oh, I didn't ask any questions.
No, but you had fun. Kitty.
I think you're all absolutely marvelous to have won for our country, and thank you very much. Number 1, how far is Sopot from Warsaw?
I cannot tell you in actual miles because I don't know. I flew from Warsaw to...
Number 3, what song did you win with?
I won with Parasolki.
With what?
Parasolki.
Oh. Number 2,
That's the name of the Polish song.
what kind of a blanket did you get?
Number 2, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was a hand-woven out of cotton. It's a beautiful blanket. It's got fringe and things like that.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. The last time this question was asked, we all voted for Henry Morgan. I'll take a chance again. Number 3, what is a zloty worth?
Zloty is worth approximately 24 zloty equal 1 American dollar.
Thank you. Number 1, what is a zloty?
It's Polish money.
Thank you. Number 2, what is a release in a song?
It's the middle part of the song.
Thank you.
Betty.
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, what Polish song did you sing with English lyrics?
That was Parasolki.
Oh, that's the one with which you won?
Yes.
Number 2, what were some of the other types of music sung by the other 24 singers?
Well, it was a popular music festival, so it was all popular music.
And number 1, who came in second?
There was no second place. I won first place as best performer.
You won the whole schmear and nobody was runner-up or anything?
There was another category, best song, which was won by the Russian song.
I see.
Now, that's it, panel. The time is gone, so it is time for you now, however, to mark your ballots. There is time for that. So mark them at once, if you will, please, without change, no consultation. Vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will, of course, be awarded $250 for each and every incorrect vote in which our panelists allow themselves to indulge. All ballots marked? Right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. I had a guess because I thought they all did beautifully. My heart was with number 3, but I thought maybe number 1 was a more finished performer. Let's see.
Betty.
Well, I don't know which one is Miss Porter, but I think they're all Lulus. I voted for number 3. Nobody could make up a name of a song like that. She had to have sung it and won with it.
All right, Orson, which is your choice?
Well, number 3 knew that 24 zloty was worth about $1, and I didn't know that, so I couldn't tell whether she was telling the truth. I was torn between 1 and 2, and I voted for number 2 for reasons that I don't want to get past the Iron Curtain, so I won't give them.
All right, Kitty, which one do you
I voted for number 1 because when she said there were no other categories and she won the award, she said it with great pride but a certain amount of charming modesty. And I thought it was number 1.
Very well, let's see now whether we have come up on the truth or whether we have just merely skirted around the fringe and come into the wrong areas, as we learn now which one of these young ladies actually is the winner at the Polish International Song Festival. So will the real Lulu Porter please stand up? Thank you very much. Let's find out about your 2 sidekicks here. Number 2, you got a vote. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Lauren Hutton, and I'm a bunny at the New York Playboy Club.
She tucked them under her ears for tonight. Number 3, what is your real name? You also got a vote, and what do you do?
My name is Melba Tolliver, and I'm a registered nurse.
Lulu Porter has a sore throat, which caused her to cancel an engagement, I believe, down in Florida. Was that right?
No, in Canada.
In Canada. But in spite of that, I'm going to prevail upon her and ask you if you give us just a little snatch of the Polish song with which you won.
I'd love to.
All right.
Parasolki, parasolki, umbrellas he would cry. Parasolki, parasolki, umbrellas who will buy?
Thank you very much, and much good fortune to you. Well, girls, you did a good job. You did a swell job, as a matter of fact. 2 incorrect votes at $250 each. I don't have to add it for you, do I? $500 coming your way, and that, of course, comes from Winston Cigarettes and a carton of Winstons on your way out. And our sincere thanks to you. We thoroughly enjoyed having you here. Good night, and God bless you. Now, 60 seconds designed to your particular taste for your particular... Let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Otto Graham.
My name is Otto Graham.
My name is Otto Graham.
Will you follow along with your copies of this one, too, please, panel? I, Commander Otto Graham, am head football coach at the United States Coast Guard Academy. When I was in college, I was an All-American in both basketball and football. Later, in my 10 years as quarterback of the Cleveland Browns professional football team, my forward passes gained over 23,000 yards for a completion average of better than 55%. This year, as coach of the College All-Stars, I had the great pleasure of seeing our college players score an upset victory over the National Football League champion Green Bay Packers. Signed, Otto Graham. Well, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be the same person, namely Otto Graham, all-time football great. I'm sure you'll agree. Let's start this cross-examination with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Otto Graham, number 2, do you happen to know where Paul Brown was the coach before he came to Cleveland?
At Ohio State University.
Thank you. Number 3, do you happen to know where he came from before that?
Massillon High School.
That's right. I used to live in Massillon. My gosh, you guys are too smart. Number one, you had a great, great Negro running back with you this year from Florida. Do you know his name? You know number two? Number three?
No, sir.
I'm talking about on the team that beat the Packers.
On the college All-Stars?
Yeah. Number two, do you know?
Paramore.
Thank you. Number three, who holds the record for touchdown passes in professional football?
Number three?
Number three?
Yeah, number three.
Otto Graham.
Good night to blow your own horn.
Betty.
Thank you, Bud. Number two, how did the weights compare on an average between the college all-stars and the professional teams?
About the same.
About the same? Oh, you real big ones, don't you? Number one, where were the goalposts in the all-star game?
At the end of the field.
On the goal line, no, sir. Nobody likes a bunch of smart Alex. Were they behind the goal line, or were they at the goal line?
Well, they're always behind the goal line, even in pro football, but they're offset in pro football in order that the players will not run into them.
Number three, darn it anyway.
Orson Bean.
Commander Graham, number two, you're with the United States Coast Guard Academy.
Correct.
Is there a Coast Guard station on Fire Island?
I don't know.
What is their motto?
That'd be a marvelous place to be stationed. Number three, Commander Graham, number three. You spent 10 years in Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
What are the call letters of the TV station there?
KYW is one of them.
Number one, do you agree with that?
The Westinghouse station, yes.
Number one, how much does a Fire Island weigh?
Now we come to our sports authority of all time, Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Number three, I had a big argument with my son the other day, and he said there was a Mr. Packer of the Green Bay Packers. Is there such a man?
Mr. Packer?
Yeah.
No, there is no such man.
It's just called the Green Bay Packers for fun.
No, it's named after the meat packers.
It's named after the meat packers.
That's right.
Who are named after some other kind of packer.
Mr. Green, yes.
Number two, under whose aegis is the Coast Guard?
Under who?
Aegis. Is it?
They come under the Treasury Department.
Treasury Department. Number one, where is the Coast Guard Academy?
It's in New London, Connecticut.
Thank you.
And it has a branch at Fire Island. That's all the time we have. Will you kindly mark your ballots, please, panel? There's still time for that. Mark them at once, without change and no consultation, as you vote for number one, number two, or number three.
I think that station blew away in a hurricane.
I think it did, too. All right. Or flew away, I don't know which. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number two. I didn't think that 1 and 3 answered questions quite as accurately as he did. And, I hope it's number two, but I hope it's Kitty's also.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
Betty, what is your choice?
Thanks a whole bunch, Mr. Poston. Well, I didn't like all that jazz about the goalposts, and I always fall for uniforms, so I tried to bring myself down to earth a little. I voted for number 3 to be very sensible. I just think it's number 3.
All right. Orson?
Well, number 3 didn't know about Tom Poston going to high school in Massillon, Ohio, or wherever it is. And number 2 said that the Coast Guard's under the Treasury. Maybe they are, but that's news to me. Are they? Well, that's news to me. For number 1.
And Kitty, what is your vote?
I voted for number 3, Tom, because I don't want to insult you. I know that your home town is very important, but I thought it was so obscure that if number 3 knew it, it must be the truth. And I know they always try to fool us by not putting the real ones in uniform, so I voted for number 3.
Even when they shouldn't be anyway, I see. All righty. Well, here we go now into the truth circle to find out who's right and who's wrong by learning now which of these gentlemen actually is the all-time football great. So will the real Otto Graham please stand up? Thank you, Otto, very much. You may sit down, if you will, please. You notice that the number one man handed him back his ring. He even was swapping rings around here in case anybody knew what kind of rings they were.
Happy.
Actually, I voted for number 2 on the basis of Kitty's questions.
Well, she's our sports, authority here. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Rex Morgan, and I'm master of ceremonies of my own daily television show in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
I've had the great pleasure of working with him. Number 3, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Ray Beck, and I'm marketing director with the Frank H. Fleur Corporation, makers of Double Bubble Gum.
As you probably know, CBS Television broadcasts the outstanding college football games each Saturday during the season. Otto, you played both college and professional football. Which did you like the best?
Well, Bud, there's no question that pro ball is a great game, but now that I've been in college ball for a few years, I have to admit that it's also a great game. I think mainly because we have incorporated a lot of the pro ideas, and there's no doubt that you're going to have a lot of fine spectacles on your TV shows this year. And I might say this, one thing that you don't know about college ball, each year college ball donates money, or gets money for the Olympics, and I would say that about 25% of all the money that's raised to send our boys overseas every 4 years is raised by college football, and also 25% of the athletes, roughly speaking, are boys who have participated in college football. So that's another note for college football.
That's great. And it's nice to hear about that Olympic news, too. Well, fellas, you can contribute yourselves now, because there were 3 incorrect votes at $250 each, $750 for you, and for the fun you had, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. That comes your way, of course, from Winston Cigarettes and a carton of Winston's for you on the way out. Thank you for being with us. Good night, and God bless you. All right, panel, rest easy now. Let's all look at this brief. Your third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Dietz Pickett.
My name is Dietz Pickett.
My name is Dietz Pickett.
Will you follow along with your third copy there, please, panel? I, Dietz Pickett, specialize in the hunting and capturing of gorillas. I capture gorillas with a special air rifle that shoots a harmless anesthetic dart, which puts them to sleep. Hitherto, gorillas in captivity have had a very high mortality rate. They are subject to many of the same ailments as humans. My method, combining tranquilizers, vitamins, antibiotics, and tender loving care, keeps the animals healthy, happy, and alive. My gorillas are exhibited in leading zoos in this country and abroad. Signed, Dietz Pickett. Three gentlemen this time, all claiming to be Dietz Pickett, gorilla hunter. I happen to have here one of the darts that Mr. Pickett uses, and I'm going to pass it over to you so that you may examine it if you wish. While I don't think it's loaded with anything, but you can try and see what it does to you. And we start with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Mr. Pickett, number 1, how close do you have to get to the animal to shoot him with this?
Up to about 35 yards.
That close. Number 2, you give them a great many drugs. Are they addictable?
No, they're not.
Even with tranquilizers?
No.
Oh, but humans are.
Well, you shoot the gorilla usually once, and when you
see.
bring him back after that, well, you
Thank
don't
you.
have to give it.
Number 2, what are they most susceptible to of all diseases in captivity? Number 3.
Number 3, you
Yes.
They have the same common ailments as humans, respiratory ailments and so forth.
What is the largest anthropoid, number 1?
Gorilla?
Number 2, when you say tender loving care, does that mean you hug them?
No, that
We
means...
certainly do.
That means Tom Poston. Tom?
Don't knock it.
That's my turn. Number 1, what is the term windage jump refer to? Do you know?
The windage jump, probably the way the wind affects the direction of the syringe as it goes through the air or a bullet.
Thank you. Number 3, what is our most famous gorilla, at least in this country? Do you remember the name of that gorilla?
Gargantua.
Number 2, how did he die?
I think he died of old age.
Number 3, I take it that Gargantua was a he. I'm assuming that.
Yes, he was.
Do you know how he died?
No, I don't.
Yet he. Thank you. Number one, where are most gorillas found? Where are they found in abundance?
In Western Africa.
Thank you.
Betty.
Thank you. But number 3, which type of gorilla do you capture more prevalently?
Which type, as far as males, females, children?
No, which type of gorilla?
Mostly the lowland gorilla that's down in Cameron.
Number 2, what is the difference between a mountain gorilla and a lowland gorilla?
Well, the difference is in the location where they live, and usually one is about 3 times as heavy as the other.
Number 1, which is heavier, the lowland or the mountain?
The lowland gorilla is heavier.
Number 2, there were two of the first mountain gorillas to be captured and survive for any length of time in this country were at the San Diego Zoo. Could you tell me who brought them back?
I think they were brought back first by I'm not quite sure whether it was Mr. Pickens brought those in or not. I think.
Number 3, do you know?
No, I don't.
All righty, thank you.
Orson.
Number 1, how do you get the dart out?
Pull them out.
Just go over after he's asleep, huh?
Yes, sir.
Number 2, what kind of meat do gorillas eat?
They don't eat meat at all. They're vegetarians.
Number 3, are gorillas neurotic?
Neurotic in the sense that they have the same feelings as human beings, and they like to jump up and down the ground and stomp around and fake around.
That's it. Time is gone, but there is still time for you to mark your ballots, and that we ask you to do next, panel, if you will. Mark them immediately, without change and without consultation, of course, which is the usual rule, as you vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked? All the way down the line? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I voted for number 1, Bud. I can't believe that gorillas aren't addictable. In fact, I'm sure that they are. And number 3 didn't know some things that I thought a real gorilla man would probably know.
Betty.
Well, if you're such a big, hot gorilla man, you know that a lowland gorilla is smaller than a mountain gorilla. I voted for number 2 on the strength of that mustache, I must admit. But his answers seemed to... Well, both number 2 and 3 gave marvelous answers. I just know it isn't number 1. What should be number 1?
Number 2 is the one that said they were 3 times as heavy.
Yeah, no, he said the mountain gorillas were heavier. Number
Orson, while they're arguing, may we have your vote?
Yeah,
Gorilla, my dream.
Number 3 said that the windage jump was when the wind takes the dart away. It sounded wrong to me. It may be right. And number 3 said something wrong. I can't remember what it was. And number 2's mustache influenced me, too. Plus, he seemed knowledgeable.
Kitty.
Well, again, based on Tom's question about the windage jump, I voted for number 1. I hesitate to say this, but all 3 of them could be gorilla men on the basis of their answers. I thought they were marvelous.
Me too. We have 2 for number 2, 2 for number 1. With that, we go to find out what is the truth in the situation by learning which one of these gentlemen actually is the gorilla hunter. So will the real Dietz Pickett please stand up? Well, thank you very much. I wish we had time to let you fight it out when you talk to him right after the show and you can see him all you want. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do, sir?
My name is Charles Perry Weimer, and I'm an international photographer.
And number 3, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
I'm George O'Day, and I build fiberglass sailboats and sail them.
As a matter of fact, George O'Day is being very modest. He is actually one of the world's leading sailboat racers, one of the best in the world. Nice to have you with us. Well, gentlemen, there were 2 incorrect, and twice $250 for each. That's $500. Not bad for an evening's fun, and we trust you had that. That comes to you from Winston Cigarettes, and a carton of Winston will be waiting for you on the way out. Thank you very much for being with us. Goodbye, and God bless you. Now a word about the protection of your floors. Good night to all of you. Join us again next week at the same time, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, the daytime show. In the meantime, speaking good night, saying good night for Winston Cigarettes, may I remind you once again to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Gowns by Steele Chapman.
Tomorrow, the curtain goes up on a great new Tuesday night at CBS, The Star's Address. see the premieres of the Red Skelton Hour, Bea Benaderet in the delightful new comedy series Petticoat Junction, the Jack Benny program, and the Gary Moore Show. That's tomorrow night at CBS, the Star's Address.
To Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Winston Filter Cigarettes. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.